45 million star coins. According to the exchange rate of 1:10,000, Xia Fei could exchange them for 114.5 billion federal dollars. The purchasing power of the federal dollars was equivalent to a third of the olden US dollars, which also meant that it was close to 40 billion US dollars. With this much wealth, Xia Fei could already be listed as the top 100 wealthiest people in the Federation. Furthermore, this was star coins, the universal currency, and it was a completely different concept with the federal dollars that could only be used in the Federation. Apart from the federal government, no one else possessed such a huge amount of star coins. Sir, since your account balance has exceeded 10 million star coins, our Indero Interplanetary Bank has upgraded your client grade from ordinary client to 1-star VIP client. We have prepared a dedicated VIP room for you, please follow me. Dawson respectfully said. Those with money were the boss. It was a rule that would never change, and it was the same for the entire universe. At this moment, a man who looked over 40 years old walked out of the office. He walked towards Xia Fei and Andre before bowing to Andre before speaking. I have just received a notification from the system that an esteemed VIP client has arrived at our branch. Mr. Xia Fei, I am Su Feng, and I am the bank president here. I represent the Indero Interplanetary Bank, and I welcome your arrival. Andre was well versed in behaving in a gentlemanly style. As compared to the young Xia Fei, Andre looked more wealthy than Xia Fei. As such, Su Feng had mistaken Andre for Xia Fei. Xia Fei and Andre smiled at each other while Dawson quickly tugged on Su Feng's sleeve and leaned towards his ear to whisper. President Su, you got it wrong. The young one is Xia Fei. Su Feng was slightly startled as he used his eyes to scan Xia Fei. Xia Fei had an ordinary appearance and wore very regular clothes. He never expected a VIP client to be so young and so low-key. It was still the same old saying, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. Apologies, Mr. Xia Fei, it was my mistake. Please follow me to your dedicated VIP room. We have prepared premium champagne and strawberries for you. Xia Fei chuckled and pointed at the AI computer while asking, does the VIP room also have this high-grade AI computer that can log in into the interplanetary internet? Dawson's face turned pale and was regretting the fact that he had humiliated Xia Fei. Su Feng was startled as he didn't understand why Xia Fei would ask like this. He immediately associated it with Dawson, who must have said something he shouldn't and had offended Xia Fei. He glared at Dawson and said in his heart, you actually dare to offend a VIP client. I think you are sick of living. Dawson's legs went numb, and it was fortunate that he didn't kneel down. His entire body was constantly dripping with sweat. I'm finished. In the luxuriously decorated VIP room. Xia Fei logged into the Indero Poetry Hobbyist website and realized that all 37 poems he uploaded were listed on the website's front page. The average hits were over 100 million, and the purchases were over 20 million. What is going on? So many hits and purchases in just a few days. Xia Fei couldn't understand. Forget it, as long as there is money to earn, why bother so much? Xia Fei turned around to pour 2 glasses of champagne and handed one to Andre. Kiki, I don't know what is going on. I suddenly have so many star coins. It seems like we need to renegotiate. Andre received the glass of champagne and spoke in a serious tone. We are willing to use the exchange rate of 1:12,000 to purchase 1 million star coins. It will be used to purchase the controllable nuclear fusion field. If you agree, not just our Rothschild family, the entire Federation will be grateful to you. To be able to offer 12 billion federal dollars in one go. It seemed like the Rothschild family's reputation as the Federation's #1 banking family wasn't just for show. Xia Fei smiled and proposed. Let's do it like this. Consider the 1 million star coins as my investment for the new energy source power plant. As for the number of shares, your family can decide, and the management can also be handled by your family. I will only receive dividends and will not interrupt the operation of the power plant. The Rothschild family had been able to remain at the top for centuries, not just because of their wealth but also because of two other factors. Firstly, the family members were natural financial experts. Even the most brilliant genetics expert couldn't find out why this family's members were so talented in handling money, and none of the family members was an exception for over a dozen generations. Secondly, the Rothschild family had used marriages to gain connections. They spent centuries establishing a massive influence network throughout the entire globe. Talent in finances and the massive connections was precisely what a lone person like Xia Fei urgently required. Making friends with the Rothschild family only had advantages with no disadvantages. Moreover, once this new energy power plant was established, the profits would be very impressive. They were making use of water to generate electricity. Was there any raw material cheaper in this world? Apart from the large amount of funds required to set up the power plant, once the power plant was functional, the cost to generate electricity would be close to zero. This was simply a great deal for great profits. The entire Earth had a population of 7 billion, and if each individual had to pay an electric fee of $1 for each month, it would be $7 billion. Furthermore, they would also be eliminating the pollution generated from fossil fuel power plants and hydroelectricity power plants. The decrease in electricity bills would also be something that everyone would appreciate. It was the same as killing 3 birds with 1 stone. If Xia Fei didn't get involved in such a business, he would be a fool. Andre laughed heartily. I will immediately inform the elders of the family to start a conference. You just have to wait for the good news. Andre patted on Xia Fei's shoulder and said in a cordial tone, You are unfamiliar with New York, why not come over to my place to have dinner? It was a huge deal for Westerners to invite others for a meal at their homes. This meant that Andre considered Xia Fei as his friend. Unfortunately, I cannot accept your invite tonight. I have other things to handle. I will definitely visit some other day. Xia Fei tactfully rejected Andre's invitation because that batch of medicinal ingredients and the wind-eye ring he purchased had arrived, and he had more important things to do. Andre arranged Xia Fei's hotel with enthusiasm and had also reserved a Lincoln-stretched luxury limousine for Xia Fei's usage. For the wealthy Rothschild family, such a matter was not worth mentioning. The plaza, top floor, presidential suite. Xia Fei locked himself in the bathroom. In front of him was a large pile of medicinal ingredients and a strange-shaped concoction device. This place was worthy of being a presidential suite. Just the bathroom was already around 60 square meters, and it was already bigger than Xia Fei's previous one-room apartment. It had sufficient space to put down all the medicinal ingredients. Medicine concoction is a very precise task. The purification of each medicinal ingredient and the sequence are all crucial. If you mess up and lower the medicinal effects, it is considered a minor problem. For serious cases, you might cause an explosion. Phantom stood at the side and spoke when he observed that Xia Fei was flustering while purifying the medicinal ingredients. These are merely medicinal ingredients. Why would they explode? Xia Fei wasn't convinced. You need to know that this is a lost art for my discipleship. We use different characteristics from each medicinal ingredient to conduct the precise proportioning. The effects are far beyond regular medicines. Different medicinal ingredients would have some conflicting or complementing relation. Take the blue star herb and the cold moon plum, for example. If used individually, they would be able to increase the speed of active cell movements, but when put together, it would become a fatal poison, and there would be no antidote to cure it. However, if you purify the blue star herb to 41% and the cold moon plum to 59% before adding in the summer night pickled plum seed that has a purity of 73%, the prescription wouldn't have poison and would have a 70% increase in effect than the blue star herb that is at 70% purity. Xia Fei frowned. To put conflicting medicinal ingredients together to compose a medicine is simply too insane. In case of a slight mistake, it's all over. Phantom spoke as though he didn't care. That's why I asked you to be careful. Such a precise concoction is truly radical. Isn't there an ordinary concoction method that is milder? Xia Fei asked. Ordinary. My discipleship has never had this term. No matter what we do, we would do it to the best of our abilities. Right now, you have yet to encounter a true society in the universe, and you don't know how cruel it is out there. Every warrior had to do their best to improve themselves, and there were plenty who would risk their lives to improve even by 1%. To stand firm in the society of experts, you have to become sufficiently powerful. Only the strong are respected, while the weak don't even have the right to speak. If I use the words that you taught me to say this, the universe is where only paranoid people would survive. With Phantom's guidance, the bathroom now had 17 different colored bottles. There were red, green, purple bottles placed in a row, which was truly beautiful. This is a primary cell activation medicine that is formed with a combination of 17 different medicines. After consuming it, you will greatly enhance the cell's vitality and would then be able to strengthen the physique intensity and toughness. The allocation of medicine isn't considered difficult. As long as you follow my instructions, I guarantee that you will be safe. The concoction device had 3 different entry points, and they were responsible for purification, mixture, and catalyzation. Now that the purification work was done, next was the mixture and catalyzation processes. The medicine bottles had a display screen where the amount of medicine required could be keyed in. When pouring the medicines into the entry point for the mixture process, the bottles made automatic adjustments according to the amount set. It allowed the precision to achieve 1/10,000th of a milliliter. When pouring the medicine in, precise control was also required. What to put in first, what to put in next, when to put it in. There must not be any error. The mixture part of the concoction device was emitting a slight sound, and it sounded like the buzzing of a bee. Xia Fei could hear that it was flying around inside the concoction device at a very high speed. After accurately pouring the first 7 medicines according to the time frame, Xia Fei picked up the 8th bottle and carefully brought it over. When the green indicator on the machine had lit up, Xia Fei poured this bottle of white medicine hastily. The mixture device suddenly emitted a sound that was like a car tire losing air. Immediately after, a yellow vapor was fuming out from the concoction device. Fortunately, I didn't ask you to concoct all the medicine. Otherwise, it would have been a huge loss. Phantom shook his head and said. Xia Fei didn't say anything and just lowered his head to ponder. He had followed all of the steps in the standard procedure. Where did he go wrong? He walked out of the bathroom and sat on the sofa before conveniently lighting up a cigarette for himself. Xia Fei then started to recall each purification step without missing any detail. Phantom reclined in a dark corner and didn't give Xia Fei any hints. Due to his profession, Phantom liked to stay in the corners, and no matter where he was, he could always swiftly find the most unassuming location. Phantom revealed a delighted expression when he saw Xia Fei in contemplation. He seems rather serious. His concoction talent will decide how soon he will be able to find the problem. Before Phantom finished his thoughts, Xia Fei put out the cigarette resolutely and headed back into the bathroom. Have you found the problem? Phantom asked while feeling unconvinced. It was only a few minutes. Could he have noticed the problem so quickly? I have thought through the entire process. When I was pouring in the 8th medicine, my hand trembled, which caused an inconsistent flow into the mixture device. Apart from that, I cannot think of anything else. Xia Fei replied while he walked. Phantom chuckled. Use the diagram that I gave you and slowly study it. I will return to my little nest for a nap. Call me when you are done with the concoction. Interesting. He can even notice such a slight difference. Is it really that amazing to fully unlock the 7th brain region? Phantom shook his head and entered the more stone. Phantom, are you dead? Roughly a few hours later, Xia Fei yelled into his necklace. Don't constantly ask if I am dead or not. I have been dead for a long time. Phantom peeked out from the necklace rather unhappily and asked, is there an explosion or what? What explosion? All the primary cell activation medicines are concocted. I want to ask you about the method to use these things. Do I have to just drink it directly? Xia Fei pointed at the row of medicine bottles on the ground. Phantom arrived on the side of the bottles and glanced at them repeatedly. 11 bottles of medicine were placed in an orderly manner. They were sparkling and limpid bottles that contained a light purple fluid. It was extremely pure and didn't have a trace of impurity. Phantom's face kept calm and collected, but his heart was exceedingly astonished. This is his first time concocting medicine, and he merely made one mistake before succeeding. Furthermore, there is one more bottle than my initial expectation. It means that he is very precise in the proportions of the medicine and has eliminated any signs of wastage. Oh, not bad. Fill up half the bathtub with cool water and pour in 10 bottles of the activation medicine. Soak yourself in it and don't come out before I tell you. You can now drink the remaining bottle. Phantom instructed. Xia Fei was in disbelief. Do you plan to use all the medicine worth over 300,000 star coins in a single session? Isn't this too extravagant? Phantom couldn't care less and replied, you are now building your foundation, and a good foundation will directly impact your future cultivation limit. Don't try to save money on such matters. There are things that money cannot buy. The poems on the Indero Poetry Hobbyist website are selling well, and you should have quite a bit of money, right? After using up this batch of medicine, we will not need to use such low-grade medicine anymore. By then, I will prescribe some cell acceleration medicine. They will be much better than these medicines, and the current medicine is too slow to increase your cultivation. Cell acceleration medicine. How much money is required for them? Xia Fei asked. They are rather cheap. Around 7 to 8 million star coins should be sufficient. Also, we have to change to a new concoction device. This one is too old. You will need to purchase a combat suit and weapons too. It should be around 15 million altogether. Phantom didn't bother about anything else while he said. Xia Fei was speechless. 15 million. Right now, he only had around 10 million star coins, and it was already insufficient. How should he describe this situation? Alright, just do as I said. I suddenly have a huge inspiration today, and I will return to compose a poem. Remember, do not exit the bathtub before I say so. Phantom gave his instructions before vanishing again. It was already morning right now. Xia Fei poured 10 bottles of medicines into the bathtub all at once. He then drank one bottle before he took off all his clothes and sat in the bathtub. The bathtub was filled with chilled water, so it was rather cold when he first entered the bathtub. However, an intense heat quickly surged into Xia Fei's body. The cell activation medicine in his stomach also started to take its effect, and all his organs were starting to have a burning sensation as though a pot of hot water was poured into his stomach. The water was hot, so was his stomach. In just a short moment, Xia Fei was drenched in sweat, and his sweat was flowing down like a small river. Phantom saw the battered and exhausted Xia Fei from inside the Moor stone. Kid, no matter how talented you are, you still have to endure through this obstacle first. A full day passed by in the blink of the eye. Phantom stretched his head outside of the Moor stone as he wanted to see Xia Fei's situation. He saw Xia Fei's naked body standing in front of the French window and looking down at the group of people that were bustling with activity. The morning sun just happened to shine in at this moment, and Phantom suddenly realized that Xia Fei's body seemed much stronger than before. Why are you outside? Didn't I tell you to stay inside the bathtub? Phantom sounded rather angry. Xia Fei turned around and smiled at Phantom. The water in the bathtub is already colorless. I guess that even if I continued staying in it, there wouldn't be any effects. That's why I walked out. Colorless? Phantom muttered to himself with suspicion, that is impossible. Phantom rushed to the bathtub and saw that the originally purple water was now clear and transparent. 10 bottles of primary cell activation medicines are actually completely absorbed by you in a single day. Phantom felt that it was unbelievable as a regular ability user would need at least 3 days to absorb so much activation medicine. Furthermore, no one was able to absorb everything completely like Xia Fei and not leave a hint behind. This was truly outrageous. That is probably the case. I am starving for a meal right now, are you coming? Xia Fei replied as he started to wear his clothes. Phantom shook his head and dove back into the Moor stone. As expected, it is because of the fully unlocked 7th brain region. It was still rather early, and the restaurant had only started operating. Xia Fei picked a seat at the window while a young blonde waitress came to Xia Fei. Sir, what do you wish to order? Oh, ham and eggs, 3 portions and some milk, make it 2 liters. 3 portions. The waitress could see that Xia Fei wasn't exactly very buff and silently noted down in the order slip. Can he really finish 3 portions of breakfast and 2 liters of milk? In just a short moment, 3 portions of breakfast and 2 liters of milk had been wiped clean by Xia Fei. He rubbed his stomach and wanted to continue eating. Excuse me, give me another 3 portions of the same food and 2 plates of fruits and salad. Can you bring more of these small round bread too? Xia Fei ate and spoke at the same time. The blonde waitress stuck out her tongue. My God, is he even human? Phantom, after eating so much food, I should already be full. Why do I still feel so hungry? Xia Fei asked while feeling puzzled. There is nothing strange. After using the primary cell activation medicine, your body's metabolism is much higher than before. With a higher calorie consumption, you naturally require more food. This is a good thing as it means that the medicine is taking its effect. After carefully thinking about it, it did feel like the case. Xia Fei simply started to feast, and by the time he ate the 12th portion, he started to feel like he was getting full. By the time he was really full, he had already eaten the 17th portion of breakfast. New York's Central Park occupied a huge space, and it reached up the 843 acres. It was still early morning now, and there were plenty of people who had woken up to exercise. After warming up, Xia Fei took out the wind-eye ring and wore it on his hand before taking a deep breath. Xia Fei's left leg stomped on the ground, and he flew out like an arrow launched by a bow. Sceneries on both sides were rapidly passing by, and with the effects of the wind-eye ring, Xia Fei didn't feel any air resistance when he was running. He was running with quick and nimble steps. It is too fast. I am much faster than before. Phantom, this speed is probably at the intermediate starlight rank, right? Xia Fei asked while running. Your speed is around 85 meters per second and has reached the advanced starlight rank, Phantom said indifferently and was seemingly not interested in Xia Fei's rapid speed. 85 meters per second. If Xia Fei participated in the 100-meter race, he would only need slightly more than 1 second to complete it. With this super speed, even the Olympic champions would have to eat dust behind Xia Fei's butt. Most importantly, in just one day, Xia Fei had a consecutive promotion of 2 stages. He had now reached the advanced starlight rank. He was just 1 step away from the star base rank.